I recently had the pleasure of going to the National African American History and Culture Museum in Washington, D.C. And honestly, this video is just like a quick review on my take on the museum. I liked it from a very commercial standpoint. I liked it. I think that more people of color and non-color should go to the museum. Um, I will say, as one of my takeaways, it had a lot more European figures inserted in the exhibits than I had expected. But, as usual, we get things that are for us that are never really for us. Because somewhere there's always an insert somewhere with something. It's never really clear across the board something black. Historically, we've seen that. So I don't know why I was surprised that, seeing even the, white honorable mentions in the museum, I was still surprised. But all in all, the museum was lovely. I think for people that might be out of touch with racism or, did not realize the impact or did not realize a lot of what Black people had to endure, it created a snapshot of that. And I do mean snapshot. I don't feel like it vividly expresses and paints the picture, but it does a good job of giving a snapshot into the life of Black Americans, in terms of progress, in terms of what we've endured, in terms of our triumphs is definitely there. I don't feel like the museum should be a placeholder for a lot of what I would call those things that say, okay, well, you guys have done so much, you're good. Malcolm X said, you don't stick a knife in a man's back, pull it out 6 inches and call it progress. So, by no means am I saying that the museum is that 6 inch progress, because, we still have another 3 and a wound to heal at this point. But I do believe that it does paint a good picture of having universally anyone that walks in understand the intensity and understand the grit of what we've gone through. It has about 8 levels. Very, very big museum. I advise anyone to do it in about 2 days. If you do it in one day, you're going to tire yourself, because, it honestly is a mash of Black history compressed into one building. And, Black history is so very vast that it's virtually impossible to document and really explain and get down to the nitty gritty of everything from music to, religion to activism to all of the things that we had to deal with from a very negative perspective. So, I like the museum. Like I said, it does give you a snapshot. I mean, if you just kind of want a quick rundown because of all the information it has, it definitely provides that. I left very moved. I left very inspired, and I think anyone that has some sort of real intentions on invoking change in their lives of people around them in their communities, it will inspire you, and you should leave inspired. One of the most heartbreaking exhibits that I walked through was the Emmett Till exhibit. You're not allowed to photograph it, so on my Instagram, needless to say, I won't have any pictures of the Emmett Till exhibit as per his mother's request. And, going in that room is just such a different air. It's such a different spirit. And if you didn't get the gist, because once again, I do emphasize that this museum is only a snapshot. If you don't get the gist of what racism did at no other point during your tour of the museum in that exhibit, you get it when you walk into the Emmett Till exhibit, simply because you understand and you feel. And when you look around you, there is no way, shape, or form possible that you cannot understand what hate looks like until you walk in there. Being in there, like I said, it's a different air. You really feel it. And for a person to walk in that room and come out the same is very interesting. And I would actually challenge those people from a very humane standpoint, because what was done to him was very inhumane, and what was done to him was very traumatizing. And it traumatized a lot of people, and it was very traumatizing for generations. And it's very hard to see something like that and walk out the same. It's very hard to see something like that and still have hate in your heart. I thank his mother for loaning the artifacts and loaning, what she did to the museum, because, it's something that people need to see. I love the idea of her having an open casket funeral, because, a lot of what has been done to us is closeted, and still is being done to us, has been closeted and pushed to the side for so long. And, it literally takes it and it puts it in your face, because you need to see it. And once you see it, then you can start to deal with it. So like I said, shout out to his mom. Emmett Till definitely had a strong mother, but all in all, the transition from slavery to, having President Obama, to the Black Panthers, it highlighted a lot. It highlighted a lot, those soldiers that died, for us to have, civil rights, the civil rights movement, everything. But it does not do any of those figures, any of those actions, any of those movements, any of those people. It doesn't do them justice. It simply calls your attention to them. But all in all, if you ever are in the DC area, the museum is free, guys. Like, it's free. And, for something like that, that powerful, to be that accessible, it's no excuse. And I think that something like that museum is a good start toward getting us as a people to understand what Black history was and what it is. And then we can start to, take those strides to move forward in getting to know ourselves. It's a good getting to know yourself exercise is what it is. But I'm glad I went.